My name is Mark van Wyk. I'm co-founder of Infra Impact Investment Managers. Infra Impact Investment Managers is a fund manager focusing on mobilizing capital into spaces of impact. I originally grew up on the Cape Flats in Cape Town, in areas that is gangster-ridden, and from a very humble background. I managed to qualify as a chartered accountant as opposed to taking a route of being involved in other activities that so many of my friends had fallen foul of. The challenge that we have in South Africa is high unemployment, and specifically unemployment within the youth. And so overarching objective for all our funds and all our businesses we invest into is to create jobs and to treat their workers fairly. For me, community means more than just a group of people. It is how the interconnection between a group of people makes that people. You know, there's this famous Zulu saying that say, Muntu, Hungumuntu, Hungubantu. I am who I am because we are. So we've started focusing on putting capital to work from a donation point of view into education for students with bursaries, similarly looking after the homeless in terms of contribution for homeless people to shelters, and then also looking after the health of those individuals that need help from a hospice perspective. They are in great need of assistance in terms of being terminally ill and therefore needing love and care, sometimes in the last days of life. And when we came across the Maryland opportunity to create and support a hospice on the Cape Flats to support people with terminal illnesses, it's something that struck to our hearts and something that we just couldn't turn a blind eye to, and it's something that we're supporting and will continue to support going forward.
My name is Lynn Jacobs. From Cape Town, I belong to a group called Utopia. And together we started a non-profit company called Utopia in Action. Our mission and goal in this lifetime now is to build a palliative hospice center in Hanover Park. MPHC, or Maryland Palliative Hospice Center, is the name of our project, based in Hanover Park, focusing on building compassionate communities in Hanover Park, focusing on home-based care, focusing on training unemployed youth to be caregivers, and later on to have a 24-bed hospice. Not many people know that in South Africa, if you are over 40 and you have life-limiting, what they used to call comorbidities during COVID, and then you get the diagnosis, you actually are not able to get different kinds of therapies like dialysis or chemotherapies to save your life, because it is not economically viable for them to save your life. And then what they say to you at the state hospitals is, go home, make yourself comfortable. And where's home? In the case of patients at Hanover Park, home is an overcrowded home with maybe 13 people in a 2-bedroom apartment, or a backyard dwelling that's leaking, or maybe you're on the streets. Our value spells tree: trust, respect, empathy, and empowerment. Those are the things that are key. The tree, though, is #rooted in love. Always, everything is about love, and that's what we truly believe in. Finding money to start our education section, which is key because we want those carers to work in our facility and in the communities. I can honestly tell you that there were 2 donors, one who assisted us with buying our property, and the second was Infra. They came on board. They set us a challenge. They said, if you can get this building ready and get bums on chairs by March, we'll keep helping you. And we did. We furnished that building. 2024, we furnished the building. You will see the pictures of our IT room, our classroom, our students' cafeteria, and our IT room looks smashing. We just need devices. What a lot of people don't know is there's no Wi-Fi in Hanover Park. Nobody thought it was necessary to lay cables in Hanover Park. Imagine in this modern world, how are we going to operate without Wi-Fi? It's just not going to be good enough. So we're pushing for that. There's a lot that happens when someone comes to the end of life. And in our society, we have this absolute fear and angst about somebody dying when you get this diagnosis. Our motto is, we can't add days to your life. Remember, you have a terminal diagnosis, but we can add life to your days. And we will teach our students and our carers how to do it. We want everybody involved who comes onto the premises, whether you're a volunteer, to say, I'd like to give some of my time to be with the patient or work in your garden. We have a magnificent garden, and we've started a permaculture garden with vegetables that we hope the community is going to get involved in, get some of our harvest from this, teach them sustainability from the ground right onto your table. By the end of this year, our students would have been able to finish this course. They're going to be trained and certified as home-based carers. They're also going to do a course in first aid, first responders. But we also want them to have a driver's license by the end of this course. Microsoft is also one of our sponsors, and our students are going to learn the whole 365 suite. When we started, we had 2 students coming in with black eyes. They were beaten, and we suddenly were very aware of gender-based violence within the community. And we did have on our curriculum that they were going to learn self-defense. But the self-defense instructor straight away pivoted and started teaching them kickboxing. You have got to see the power of those kicks now, 5 weeks later. It's insane. Yes, we built a hospice and a training center, but for every one person that we touch, within that family there's probably minimum 5 people that we touch. Now imagine we replicate this in so many communities where we don't wait for government, we don't wait for anybody else to come and tell us how we're going to change this. We change it, one person at a time. But in their moment of need, we tap in with our humanity and we change the world.
We know that we've got an educational challenge in our country. Nelson Mandela said, education is critically important for our country's long-term sustainability. Unfortunately, due to various different factors, we do run the risk of people being left behind. And in the case of Life Matters, due to the increase in class sizes in our government schools, and due to other socioeconomic issues at home, certain kids do not get the support in terms of learning how to read effectively and also how to do mathematical activities on a regular basis. There's a high correlation between educational attainment levels and unemployment. If you've got no education, the probability of being unemployed is very high. And that is just the way that we can come alongside government to address some of these issues that we see.
We need to realize that our children are the future. They are the leaders. Make them realize that the world is there to be conquered. The world is their own. We need somebody to show us the way.
It's very sad to see that majority of our learners cannot read and write. When they come here to the schools, it's hard for them to engage in learning because the issues that they come back with also affect them here.
So when they come to me, they lack confidence. When I ask them a question, they wouldn't even respond back to me.
I was down a bit because all my friends could read and write and I couldn't. So then I was like, no, then I shouldn't be in their company or in their group.
So you have a normal child coming to school to learn, a normal child wanting to have a normal life.
If the learner cannot read, it puts a wall between the teacher and the student.
And that is where Life Matters comes in, to develop a well-formed, holistic child so they can get into the community and also becomes part of the future of our country and our communities.
So when they come here, they're able to actually open up to you and they will tell you what's going on. You don't have to probe because this is a safe place.
It's an important time in their life. Their brain is starting to develop, you know, and it's like a sponge. It's taking in everything. So we aim to give them the good stuff that they can take in.
Life Matters is an NPO that has a holistic package of programs that serve children in the broader Cape Flats region of Cape Town. We have an academic side and a life skills side where we offer literacy and numeracy and then life skills, counselling and teenage awareness programs.
So what we aim to do is to take those learners out of the classroom, teach them one-on-one, which is brilliant because the one-on-one attention gets through to them much quicker than a full classroom.
And just seeing their eyes light up as they come into our spaces because they're coming from sort of big classes with sort of quite strict teachers and are often quite nervous and stressed, and they come into a space where they feel at ease, where they'll be listened to, where they'll be heard, where someone will appreciate them, where there's connection with an adult who's showing up for them and wanting to make a difference.
The main aim for the learner is to be able to get them on par with their peers in the class, because usually these are the learners that are left behind.
In these centres we offer a lot of love, and I think that's the main thing, and they feel it and they're able to offer it back.
If a child comes, especially when a child comes from a traumatized background, to be in a relaxed atmosphere, that opens up that barriers, that stops the learning, and that plays a major role.
There are issues of gang violence, unemployment, potential substance abuse in their homes, the list goes on. But just to offer a safe space for kids who would often otherwise not have access to any sort of counselling or life skills support.
It's more than just counseling, I would say, because at the end of our journey together, he or she would have gotten a lot of skills, but then gotten to know themselves.
The Life Matters really like an angel to the school. Not only do they assist the learners in foundation phase, when they have extra programs, not too long ago, they had a program for our grade 7s.
So our teenage awareness programs are targeted at the grade 6s and 7s with the hope that we can talk about contextual, topical issues that are facing teenagers as they move through from sort of late junior school into early high school.
Our slogan is "Let us start the conversation," and I think that for me is the essence. We are bringing conversations that are necessary to the light in a preventative manner and equipping kids with the knowledge and the right questions to ask in order to make empowered decisions as teenagers in our South African context.
We're making a difference in the child's life at present and making a difference in the child's future going forward.
You get excited with the child because you see the progress, you see how they light up when they get the word right or a sound word that they've been struggling with.
They inspired me to not give up, keep my hope, keep my confidence. I've actually succeeded in many of my grades, progressed, and I'm now in grade 7, the deputy head girl of Lowry Primary School, and I'm proud of myself.
Those kind of support that they give the learners at school obviously filters and it spills over to their homes, and the parents inquire, what happens, who's at your school? Oh no, Life Matters.
I think our hope for Life Matters is that we can continue providing the holistic package of programs to all our beneficiary schools in their full capacities.
And if we stand together, we can achieve anything. The sky is the limit, and our kids are our future.
One of the primary reasons for the low entrance levels at higher education has been access to financing. And myself, having come from a poor background, if I didn't get a bursary to go to university, there is no chance that my parents would have been able to afford to send me to a higher education. So I'm one of the lucky ones. But there's thousands of me out there. And what TIBA does is that it's a not-for-profit, in most cases a non-fee university, being able to give academically deserving students a chance to be in further education and higher education, which will enable them to also get a qualification so they can get a decent job. And CSI, being almost 100% donor-funded organisation, is addressing that challenge of picking up those kids that's got a deep desire and passion to pursue higher education, affording it to them and preparing them for the workforce going forward.
My name is Brian Mukwili.
Hi, my name is Munawara Abdurrahman.
Kwesi Jackson, Michael Javi,
Clayton Jordan,
Ethel Konto, Tasabela Gwele.
I work for Granite Asset Management within the operations department.
I work as an investment consultant at an asset management company. I work at CSI Business School, so I'm the student recruitment lead.
a client relationship manager at 10X Investments. I am a current CSI student.
Business administration second year student.
And bachelor's degree in business administration.
I did Islamic studies, and then once I was done, then I would have an idea of what I wanted to do. I remember I got a job at a call center.
We started thinking about ideas, and not just only as friends, but as people who might be taking care of their families one day. We came up with Etiketi, which is an events company, transitioned into an apparel company now.
I went to high school in Cape Town, Gordon's Commercial, which is a very, very different environment to my primary school. I went and worked at a restaurant, was a waiter, I had my kids. Life just carried on, and until a friend of mine who was at CSI at the time said, come and join CSI, your life will change.
So I discovered what purpose living is.
When I look back and think about CSI, I really feel like CSI sort of gave me that great foundation to which I could sort of jump ahead in life.
I got awarded the Alan Gray Orbis Foundation, the Candidate Fellow Award, so I'm really excited about that.
So I think I've inspired quite a lot of people, and they do every now and then reach out to say, how did you get to where you're at? How can I apply at CSI? How can I also change my life? I get to touch other people's lives, just as CSI has touched my life, and I get to bring that hope and those opportunities that I have experienced through CSI to them.
It was more about impacting other people's lives, impacting the society that we came from, impacting my community.
And the thing that links us and glues us all together is to live a life that is full of purpose and to always put our values forward as a compass.
It's provided me with the platform to become the first child within my family to actually go to university.
So my life is more purpose-driven now. I have a career now instead of just having a job.
I'm channeling the potential and turning those potentials also into capabilities. And once you're capable, you can act. And if something acts, things change. And that is what we need in our communities. We need change.
The challenges that most non-profit organizations have in South Africa is access to funding. The vision for Infra Impact is to be a multi-generational trusted partner to both local and international investors that want to leverage the power of the private markets to address poverty, inequality, and to protect our planet. And I believe that if we continue with this trajectory, being true to our purpose, being true to our mission, we will achieve what we're setting out to achieve.